So to conclude my presentation, I want to move on to the steps to become world-class and how you can utilize benchmarking to achieve that. What we have here is a picture of a typical organization. It's got stakeholders, it's got a strategy, it's got objectives, it's got a culture, and obviously it tries to develop products that meet the needs of customers. So it's got some inputs, processes, and outputs. I would say to any organization, the first step forward for that organization is to have some basic quality management system in place so the organization understands what it currently does and does it in a consistent manner. It doesn't necessarily need to be an ISO 9000 system, but there needs some quality management system in place. But even at that level, an organization can start to use informal benchmarking, because informal benchmarking can be used by everybody within the organization. So world-class organizations proactively encourage informal best practicing, informal benchmarking. So therefore get managers to ask employees, is this process a best practice? How do you know it's a good process? And that will get them to think about how they can improve. Step 2 would be to undertake a business excellence assessment. The example here is the EFQM model, but obviously in Singapore we've got the Singapore Quality Award model. And through that, you'll identify opportunities for improvement, whether they are in leadership, people, policy and strategy, processes, partnership and resources, or in the results area. Typically, through an assessment, you might identify between 20 to 50 opportunities for improvement. So that's too many to handle by best practice benchmarking, but when you actually brainstorm how to tackle those opportunities for improvement, again, remember to use informal benchmarking. Try to incorporate that into your process. For those organizations which are more mature, they can then move on to best practice benchmarking. You'd use this just for your key opportunities for improvement. Maybe you just want to run 2 or 3 best practice benchmarking projects a year. And through that, you'd use a proven methodology, not necessarily trade, but there are other methodologies out there. And you then identify the best practices and implement them. This is a way that you can quickly move forward and become a better organization. And there's no better example than that, than Rank Xerox. Because Rank Xerox were the pioneers in terms of benchmarking. They moved from crisis point to world-class performance in 8 years. In the early 1980s, they were in danger of going out of business. They'd seen a market share drop from 76% to 17% due to the competition from organizations like Canon and Ricoh, who we saw earlier on. And they thought that in order to improve, they not only need to improve their products and services, but all their operational processes and all their support processes. So they wanted to learn from whoever was better than them. So they learned from Honda for supply development. They learned from Toyota for quality management. They learned from American Express for billing and control. They learned from Ford for factory layout. They learned from anybody who was better than them. And in a period of less than 8 years, they moved from a loser to an organization that was world-class. They were the first organization to win the Baldrige Award and the EFQM Excellence Award. They won the Baldrige Award in 1989 and the EFQM Excellence Award in 1992. I think the challenge today is that organizations can become world-class much more quickly because we know now how to apply benchmarking. There are, I think, improvements to the methodologies. Plus also now technology really does help you to do benchmarking in a more effective way. So when you use benchmarking, what I recommend is that informal benchmarking is for everybody. For performance benchmarking, only do it if you're going to act on the data. And for best practice benchmarking, use for those key opportunities for improvement.